First off, the most obvious all-star is going to be SGA. SGA has been playing amazing, scoring high, scoring efficiently. I'm pretty sure he has like a 200-game streak of 20 points or more in a game, which is like actually insane. It might end up
Is it really 200 now? I mean,
we
he's
can
not
fact check that
he's
later.
not going to break LeBron's record anytime soon, but I don't know what the streak for 20-point games is. He might come close to that. It's obvious. There's not a ton to say. Like him or hate him, he's just killing shit. Another really obvious one, Jokic. I mean, it doesn't even matter if he's hurt until the All-Star break at this point. He's played enough games and he's been the best statistical player on the planet so far this season. So I think it's super obvious that he's an All-Star. Just doing what Jokic does. A cool, 29, 12, and 10 on 60, 43, 84, 83. 71% true shooting.
71% true shooting. That's
Something
all
like
you need to
that.
know. How good he is.
Yeah.
My third starter is Luka Doncic. I'll kind of be the first to slander him this season. Me and Cam off the camera had a little bit of a debate, but still, he is a starter. Just counting stats wise, he's been amazing. And honestly, that Lakers team sucks. Like it is Luka and it is a couple other players that are absolutely carrying because their role players are terrible.
A couple other players. It's like LeBron James and Austin Reeves. Just a couple other
Just
players.
a couple other players.
Yeah.
So we'll see who's an all-star, who's not from that sample size. But yeah, you had him as a starter.
I had him as a starter. I think it's pretty obvious, regardless of what you want to say about defense, about some efficiency. His true to shooting is still above 60% somehow. And yeah, it's Luka Doncic. I think any season where he's healthy, he's going to be an all-star starter until he's like 33, 34. Yeah, pretty easy for me. My next guy, so there's two other guys. I feel like these were kind of the two debatable spots. My next guy is Anthony Edwards. Now, maybe not some of the counting stats of some other guys, maybe too close. Maybe the team success isn't high enough for you. But this dude's averaging 29 points per game. He's doing it at almost 50, 40, 90 as a slasher, which is insane. I feel like I've said that a lot in this video already. Doing it on almost 50, 40, 90. There's so many guys that are close to 50, 40, 90 this year. It's insane. Like this used to be the benchmark for efficiency. And now it's like, we might have a guy that does that every season, if not multiple guys.
We might have to raise that. We might have to, instead of 50, 40, 90, like 52, 42, 92. Like
Whatever Steph did in his like 2016 unanimous MVP season, drop that a little bit and make that the standard.
Okay, but actually, I will say, you're saying 50, 40, 90, and it's 80%. Literally 80%.
Okay, he is actually 80%.
Yeah, so let's not guess.
I'd say 50, 40, 90, but it's like 50, 40, 80. So still
Very good.
super impressive. And as we know, he plays elite defense. He is the best on-ball defender on that Minnesota Timberwolves team. And depending on how you view Rudy Gobert, probably the best defender on that team. Well, Julius Randle's a pretty good defender. They've got a lot of good defenders, but I'd say Ant is definitely their best on-ball defender, especially as a point of attack defender. So he's their best scorer, and he's their on-ball defender, primarily on the other team's best guard or wing. And his playmaking has also taken a leap in recent years, which we know. Yeah, Anthony Edwards has definitely arrived statistically. We already knew he was here as a player, but statistically, he's taken another jump this year. And I definitely think he deserves to be an all-star starter.
Yeah, I agree. Ant should be an all-star starter. And my last one might be a surprise. I'm going Stephen Curry. He has had a not career high season, but like his best season in years. Probably since what, like 20, like a regular season, 21? Maybe 23. I think I kind of remember 23 being good.
He was pretty good in 23. His assists have gone down this year as he's taken on more of a scoring role, and his efficiency is a little bit lower, but he's still having a tremendous season.
But he's still being efficient. He's still averaging 29 points per game, and he is the only reliable. I mean, Jimmy Butler has been good, but when you talk about stepping up in the clutch and consistently being there and consistently being a scorer who doesn't just give up eventually and how good they are, Steph Curry's been the only player on the Warriors. And then just obviously, like, I'm just always going to be the Steph Curry Glazer. I mean, he could even not be putting up the numbers, but just what he does on the court and how much he helps his teammates that way, how much attention he gets, and then like how good of a defender he's grown to be over the last couple of years. Like he's not like a Brunson or even like, I mean, Maxi's not a bad defender, but like Stephen Curry's a better defender than those guys. And then he's still putting up 29 and he's still putting up all this efficiency.
Stephen Curry was an all-star for me, but it really pains the Warriors fan in me to say this. He was not a starter. He was my first guy out because I had one guy over him, and that is Victor Wembanyama. Now, it's a tough debate with Wemby because he's missed some games and come off the bench, but his impact is undeniable. He has top 5 impact in terms of for a player on a team in the West. The attention that offenses have to pay to him because of his length and his defensive ability and everything he does. I mean, he legitimately does so much to disrupt and change how teams have to play against him that it goes far beyond the stat sheet. And then if you want to look at the stat sheet itself, we looked at his per 36 minutes a couple weeks ago when we did our player A, player B comparisons, and he's per 36 just shows how much different things would look if he was playing, 34, 35 minutes a night instead of what he is playing right now, which might even be under 30 because of how long he was coming off the bench for. But he's still, even with that, averaging 24, 12, and 4 with almost 4 blocks a game, right?
29.8 minutes per game.
29.8 minutes per game.
So just under 30.
Yeah. He's not playing nearly as much as these other guys, and he's still having the biggest defensive impact of any player in the league while being an elite scorer. Also, just developing into the heartbeat of that team too, which is what you always want out of your young star, but you don't see it all the time. And he has become the definitive leader in just year 3, which doesn't necessarily contribute to All-Star voting, just something I really like about him. But yeah, I think Victor Wembanyama does deserve to be an All-Star starter, as does Steph Curry. The Spurs are just the second seed in the West, and I do think that matters too, because they've been a lot better team success-wise.
I will say I just chose Stephen Curry over Wemby because it's pretty close between the two, and I just gave it to games played because Wemby has missed a bunch of games. But also, both players this season have had some pretty, when they have a bad game, it is pretty bad. I know Wemby's not playing minutes some games, but even when he's not playing minutes, sometimes he just has a shitter. And also, the Spurs were kind of winning some games without him. I'm not going to take team success too seriously, but also, that does mean a little bit when it comes to this. But ultimately, it came down to games played. That's why they were a top.
I get the logic.
My next, I don't even know if this is the 7th guy, but he is a for sure all-star in my mind. Denny Avdia. Has just been killing it on high volume after being with the Wizards for 4 years. These last 2 Blazers years, I mean, last year was pretty good, but now he's 20. I don't have the stats in front of me, but he's probably 25 points per game, 7, 8 assists, 7, 8 rebounds. Sure, the efficiency and the turnovers might not be too great, but he is kind of he's always been known in the NBA as a defensive guy. So for him to step up like this for a Blazers team that needs it, with Drew Holiday being out, with Scoot Henderson being out, and then you look at these offensive players besides Shaedon Sharpe, and it's not great for Portland. They have they have a lot of good defense, but the load that Denny Avdia has had to handle, has been substantial. I mean, it has. And the fact that he's been doing this and leading the Blazers to even some wins means more than giving some all-star spot to someone who is on a really, really good team, but doesn't have the same load.
Yeah. Pause. Denny this year, 26 points per game on 47% shooting from the field, 36 from 3, 79 from the line, 7
and that's still efficient.
7 rebounds. Yeah,
it's not Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, that kind of efficiency.
No, if he was averaging those numbers and he was doing it efficiently, we might be having a conversation about him as an all-star starter or doing so more efficiently. But this year, I do want to check his true shooting real quick just to see how all of that comes together. He has a higher true shooting than Luka Doncic. So
does he really?
Yeah, his true shooting.
By the way, one step he did take, and you can say whatever, it's the refs or whatever. His free throw attempts have been insane. I think he might. I don't know if he leads I think he leads the league in total free throws attempted. I think that's what it is.
That might be it because Luka definitely leads it in free throws attempts per game.
Go to total real quick. It's just at the top.
Yeah. Well, total. Yeah. So Denny's right behind him, though, as I look at average per game. He's 9.8. Luka's 12.1, which is insane. He's number 1 in total per the season with Mr. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander closely trailing him. Denny, you cannot deny. He has been a great player this season. He is also an all-star for me. And I think he is...
Did you have to think about it?
No, not really. I got to be honest with you. Because it's could I make a case for Denny Avdia not being an all-star if I tried really hard? Sure. Could I really go out of my way to name 5 or 6 guys that deserve to be an all-star over him? No. Not really.
I don't think so.
So I think he's an all-star. He was my 8th guy because I had one guy over him. And this guy, I never know what to think of him, honestly. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But when he's up, he's up. When it's up, it's up. Kawhi Leonard is up right now. He's averaging almost 30 points a game. And he's doing so on good efficiency. And he's playing good defense. Not necessarily the defensive player of the year that we used to know, but still really good defense. And when he is on, he still looks like a guy that threatens for the title of best player in the league. Now, he's not on as consistently as he used to be, but I mean, man, he is having a great season, and he's actually played, I think it is 27 games or almost 30 games. So he hasn't missed as many games as you would think he would have. So that's not really an argument. You could argue team success, But when it comes right down to it, he's putting up better numbers than almost everybody below him, and he's leading the league in steals per game. So
Oh, I didn't even know that.
yeah,
Wow.
he's averaging 2.1 steals per game. He's having a great season, and I think he definitely deserves to be an all-star. And if the Clippers were a better team, we might be talking about him as an all-star starter.
Kawhi was 24 points per game in October, 27 in November, 30 in December, and 30 in January. So his tear has been insane. Like the fact that he started the season so slow and is averaging 29 points per game is crazy.
Yeah.
He obviously deserves it.
And just to comment on that stretch he had, that 6-game stretch where the Clippers went 6-0, there's been 2 players in NBA history that have averaged 35 plus points per game on 50, 40, 90 splits over a 6-game span in which their team went 6-0. Kobe Bryant in 2007, Kawhi Leonard this year.
Not even Stephen Curry did it. And
And not in that insane like April he had, which there was some other stuff that was insane about it, like players to average, I don't know what it was, like 35 on like some sort of efficiency. I don't know how he didn't average that. He must have just not shot his free throws well, because he had like stretches of games where he averaged 35 points, bringing him on 80% true shooting.
yeah.
So I don't even know how he doesn't fit into that category, but it's because his team didn't go 6-0. He definitely did it, but it's just
Yeah.
because the Warriors didn't go 6-0.
Probably went like 5-1.
Probably,
And then
or like 4-2 or something.
that is kind of
like
the problem with the super picked.
It is. It's a
stats.
cherry pick stat, but it's still worth noting. Good company. I'm sure maybe Jordan did that at one point. Kobe did that. There might have been guys like T-Mac that did that. But again, he's having a really historic stretch for a guy that we thought would never be the same player again after all of his injuries.
I definitely had Kawhi as a guaranteed All-Star. I didn't even think about it twice. The projection or his arc has been kind of crazy because the very first fan voting, he was 20th, I believe, in All-Star voting, and then this last one that came out, he's now 13th. I forget if it was in the West or total. I think it was.
I'm surprised he's still only 13th.
I know, but I guess it's kind of hard when you are 20th to really come back as soon as you can. Because I think it goes by total. Yeah. But pretty much, yeah, guaranteed All-Star.
Yeah.
Next one up, I only have 2 that I really didn't think about twice. One of them was Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Kevin Durant is doing Kevin Durant things on a winning team. And even if his team wasn't winning, he's averaging 26 and it is like very elite efficiency. He's rebounding the ball.
Yeah.
In the last, I don't have the stats to back it up, but in the last like month and a half, he has been more dominant in trying to get the ball in the clutch time or even just throughout the game, like actually just taking more shots. Because sometimes we have seen the Rockets, especially in that first month and a half, where they really went to Sengun a lot. I think Kevin Durant is slowly trying to tell the team, hey, this is my team. And then some games I've watched, it has backfired, but a lot of the games it hasn't, as their winning record shows. It's Kevin Durant at the end of the day. He is not having a down year. And if Kevin Durant's having a regular year, he's a guaranteed All-Star.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly. Kevin Durant is an all-star this year. 52, 40, 90. Not even like borderline. He is. It's 50, 40, 90. So whatever you can say about, oh, he's not scoring 30 points a night. Yeah, he's still having a really good year. And he's doing it on a good team where he's getting more touches taken away from him than he has a lot of other periods in his career. How long? You said the last month you feel like?
I feel like
He's
the
been
last
more
month.
assertive. 27 points per game on 55, 44, 92.
Oh my God. Dude,
I think he might even be taking less shots and he's just being more assertive in the clutch. That's insane, dude. That's over a month too. And not even one in which people are going, wow, Kevin Durant had a really good month.
Yeah. Because
So-
in November, he only averaged, what is that, like 23 and a half points per game. Every other month, 27 and a half, 26 and a half, 27. So he's slowly climbing toward that 27 points per game.
37, by the way. 37 years old. I mean,
By the way, it's only been a couple games. 7 assists this month per game.
we've known KD can pass that thing when he wants to.
But it was
or he's
2
a
in
position to.
October, 4 in November, 5 in December, and then 7 in January. Like he is getting more comfortable on this team, and it makes sense because it's his first year on the team. Like,
As a basketball fan, I love it. As someone who wants Amen Thompson to get more assists for my fantasy team, not the greatest thing in the world for me. But yeah. So we said Kevin Durant. This is my next guy. This is my last guy that I think is a definitive lock for the All-Star team. And it's a guy who has never made it before, Jamal Murray.
we had the same locks. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like every single.
But how can you not? Because Jamal Murray is somehow said, okay, what if I took how I play in the playoffs and just bottled it and spread it out over the regular season. Crazy idea. He's just doing that. He's averaging 26 points a game, 7 assists. I don't know what his efficiency is, but it seems to have been pretty insane.
44%.
Yeah, he's shooting 48% from the field
48?
and 48% from the field and 45% from 3 and 89% from the line, while averaging 7 assists per game, 5 rebounds per game, 25 points per game.
We got to raise this whole 50-40-90 thing up. There's too many players.
I don't know what happened with. I mean, you could just say players got better at shooting 3-pointers, or the Stars did.
Because I feel like it is the Stars. I feel like league average probably isn't that much higher.
I think that's what it. No, league average isn't that much higher. But what it really is that Stars used to specialize in doing what they did best as Stars, and the 3-point shooters were the specialists. And now Stars are like, well, what if I just added a 3-point shot to my game? So they're already shooting 50%. Then they just have to add the 3-point shooting on top of that.
Yeah,
that's.
I mean, in the
easier
2000s or even 2010s, Ant is not adding his 3-pointer like he is. Like
No, not. He wouldn't be given like the room to do that. I don't feel.
yeah, not even in late 2010s. Like this is definitely a 2020s career thing where the Stars are really adding a three. 'Cause
I would
Harden
agree.
was always
Yeah.
gonna. I mean, Harden has always been a good 3-point shooter.
Late 2010s was like when the Rockets were really pushing that revolution of the 3-pointers. I mean, you could say Steph Curry, but it was really the Rockets that showed you can do that as a team and be successful.
Yeah.
Not just have the greatest shooter in the history of basketball on your team and be successful.
So, like I said, Jamal Murray was my last guaranteed lock. So we had all the same locks. From then on, I think we have each 3 more, right?
Yep, 3 more.
And then 1 reserve.
Yep.
There are a lot of good players that unfortunately had to miss out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and give the one that I was most confident in at least.
Yep.
And I'm going at James Harden. And I understand that the Clippers have been a losing team this season. So do they deserve 2 All-Stars? I would personally agree. They deserve 2 All-Stars because every other player has been that bad on the Clippers. It's not those 2 guys' fault. James Harden, especially when Kawhi Leonard early in the season was struggling, has been doing his thing. So far this season, 26 points per game, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. It's probably around 3.5, 3 turnovers. I don't think it's 4, but it could be. He's doing everything he can. This Clippers team is just that bad. And Harden, it's kind of crazy how, I mean, obviously he's regressed from his prime, but like consistently he's been this kind of guy for the last 5 years when players are supposed to tank right now. Like, I'm pretty sure, is he 36 years old right now? I'm going to look it up. I just looked up age in basketball.
I'm pretty sure he's 35 or 36.
35 or 36.
You just looked up age in basketball.
I don't know why.
might get Gilbert Arenas at Agent Zero.
No, I don't think so.
No?
8.
You don't think it would search by nickname?
I don't think it's a nickname.
That'd be
Maybe it
kinda
would. But yeah, James Harden, I personally think he deserves it. He's still had a very efficient season, not only from the floor, but he's getting to the line as well. Not as much as his prime, obviously, but he's still doing
Define efficiency.
that. I mean, what, isn't he shooting like 45 from the field?
43.
43?
Yeah. 36 from 3.
I just know that like if you add in like free throws into the mix, he's been nearly the same amount of efficient as a lot of guys who I had over him or who I had under him. And Harden has had the volume.
That's why the West is tough.
You didn't have him?
That's why the West is tough. I had him as my number 1 injured reserve.
Okay.
I really did. I had him in there as on the bench for a long time, and then I kept looking at it, and I was like, it was a mixture of the Clippers not being great and also just his efficiency. It always does strike me because when James Harden has a bad game, I know we talk about guys having bad games and they can have off games. When James Harden has a bad offensive game, he is literally doing nothing for your team on the floor. And that is the biggest problem with James Harden is that when we talked about Steph and Wemby earlier, when Steph has a bad game, he's still drawing defenders' attention. He's still getting guys open because of his insane gravity. And Steph is also, been a decent defender. I would say Steph at this stage in his career is a better defender than James Harden. I don't feel
I'd
like
say so, but I'd still say James Harden isn't nearly the cone that some players in this league
No,
are.
he's not the cone that some players are, but it isn't like he's giving you a ton when he's not on offensively, and he can have really bad offensive games. And then same with Wemby. If Wemby's not on offensively, he's still a presence around the rim. It's tough for me because James Harden is a guy that I have come to really love in the last few years. The more I thought about it, because I'll admit I fell into the trap of really disliking him because of the foul baiting, as I did with Shea initially, and then it just appreciating his game more and more. I really want him to be an all-star this year. I hope that he is. I hope that he has a really good month before the all-star break. And I hope that, that sounds bad. I don't want to say I hope someone gets injured, but I hope that if someone does get injured, he's the first man up to be an all-star if he doesn't get in. But no, I did not have him on my list, unfortunately. So,
But it was reserved. Okay.
my next guy that I had, I'm sure you can see the next three, but this isn't necessarily in order. I would say the next guy that I had that is for me like has to be an all-star. In fact, this was the guy when I remembered him that kicked James Harden out of the list. Austin Reeves, man. Austin Reeves. Some of the injuries, you can make an argument for games played. You can make an argument that he plays next to Luka Doncic, but he played better when he wasn't playing next to Luka Doncic, which is no indictment against Luka. It's just in support of how good Austin Reeves is. I mean, when you think about it, Austin Reeves is just, to go beyond his play, how people look at him, he's taken on his own identity as being a great player. When people talk about Colin Knippel and how good he is and how good he is for a rookie, they go, damn, he could be Austin Reeves. So, I mean, when you look at what Austin Reeves can do, he is a perfect piece in so many ways. He can operate as your first option. He can operate as your second option. He can operate as your third option, and he can do all extremely efficiently. He can even be a catch and shoot guy and do that efficiently. He can be a distributor. He can be a defender. He actually rebounds decently well for a guard, which I know you don't value too much among guards, but he does everything on the court. Does he do everything perfectly? No. Does he do it as well as like each individual thing? Does he do it better than somebody on this list? No, there's somebody on this list that's better at scoring, better at passing, better at rebounding, better at defending. But the fact that he does everything you could ask of him and does it extremely well. I mean, he's an all-around player. He's the Derek White of the West. And if Derek White wasn't having the season that he's having efficiency-wise, which is under 40% from the field, I sure would have had him among my East All-Stars. So Austin Reeves is among my West All-Stars.
And I mean, even then, though, I wouldn't compare Derek White to Austin Reeves because Reeves is averaging 27 points per game.
Yeah,
Like,
I would say Derek White's a better defender and Austin Reeves is the better offensive player.
Yeah. I had Reeves also as an all-star, as a reserve, because I value players who score not only at a high volume in 27 points per game, but are also efficient. In fact, uber efficient. Like Reeves' efficiency is actually pretty insane. Even if you take free throws out of the conversation and just go effective field goal percentage, he was pretty high up on that list of players who are averaging 20 or more points per game.
I mean, go ahead.
I'll just go ahead and say, in my last reserve, it's going to go alongside that logic. I don't care about your team wins if it's not your fault. And I'm going Lauri Markkanen, 28 points per game this season, 61% true shooting. You can't blame the guy because he's playing with a bunch of bums besides Keontae George, who, by the way, honorable mention, not injury reserve, but honorable mention because Keontae George has been killing it. But besides those two players, everyone has been pretty bad or mid or whatever. And honestly, the Jazz have won more games. Like they were projected, I'm pretty sure they were projected to be like one of the lowest winning NBA teams ever. And they are actually not too terrible. Like they're somehow in the play-in mix in the West.
Yeah.
Over the Clippers, they're near the Blazers, near all these teams.
It is pretty crazy. Yeah, Lauri's been having a great season.
I saw a funny TikTok or reel or like whatever it was of like this guy naming a bunch of the players that could be on the trade block, and it was like John Morant, Trae Young, blah 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 blah, and like no one cared. And then Lauri Markkanen's name popped up, and then every team wanted him. And it's like fair. Like this dude could fit on any team. He could be a number one on the Jazz, like he's being. Maybe he wouldn't win too much. But as a number 2 or number 3,
yeah.
I mean, let's be real. If you put him on this OKC team, he's the number 2 scoring option, and he'd be pretty damn good at it.
Oh my God, can you? I so wish we would have made I wish the Warriors would have made that trade for him. That looked like it was on the table at one point.
Because remind me, was it like Kuminga and Moody?
Yeah.
Like looking back now, that is nothing.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's crazy. So that was my very last All-Star. I just have my reserve.
I have 2 more, and I did count. I only have 8 in my reserves. Okay, my bench.
Because I went first. That makes sense.
So I'm good.
Yeah, you're good.
Lauri was another one that was super close for me. And I could very well see him becoming an all-star in this next month over this other guy, over both of these guys, honestly. But the next guy I have is Alperen Şengün. I think he had a really tremendous start to the season, and injuries have kind of slowed him down since then. But still, he is the definitive number 2 option on that Rockets team as of right now. Hopefully, Amen Thompson becomes more of the second option. But yeah,
Yeah.
Alperen Şengün has been amazing. He's their primary distributor and playmaker in a lot of ways. He's a good rebounder, and he's a really good defender. He's not a great rim protector, but when you put him at the 4, which is his natural position, he moves his feet extremely well. He doesn't get blown by very easily, and he has great athletic ability, and he's quick off the ground. Overall, he's just been very good this year. And very solid. He hasn't had the same scoring punch that Lowry has, but he has had, I don't know why I just said his name that way. Lowry. He hasn't had the same scoring punch that he's had, but he's had better playmaking. I would argue better rebounding, and I would definitely say better defense. And for me, that puts him right now as an all-star. And then my last guy, Chet Holmgren, I think deserves to be an all-star. He's anchoring that OKC defense,
which is hilarious. He was calling me stupid when you had him as an all-star over me. I'll say he was my reserve.
Yeah,
but yeah, you were calling me crazy. I was telling you how good of a season he had.
At the end of the day,
what made you change your mind? Because you already knew how good of a season he was having.
Because I knew it, and then listen. I'm the type of person, when you tell me something and I already believe something, I'm going to disagree initially. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at what you said. I'm going to actually reevaluate my thoughts. And then I'm going to probably change my mind if you made a good point. I'm not opposed to changing my mind. I'm just stubborn. So Chet,
I feel like that's pretty contradictive. Isn't that literally?
How is that contradictory?
You're fine changing your mind, but you're stubborn. Being stubborn means you won't change your mind.
Because it's an emotional thing. When the emotions wear off of like feeling like, oh, I am going to stand my ground and dig my heels in and be right. And I look at it, I go, yeah, this guy's averaging 18 points per game on 57% shooting, and he's anchoring their defense on the best team in the league. He probably deserves to be an all-star. I mean, for all those seasons that Rudy Gobert was an all-star on the Jazz when they were a high seed, I think you can make the same argument for Chet Holmgren. Now, again, could Lauri Markkanen and James Harden move above these two in the last month before the All-Star break? Absolutely. It is super close right now. I think even Devin Booker, depending on this next month he has, could move above any of those guys. But right now, Chet Holmgren, you can say whatever you want about the Thunder. Oh, they lost to the Hornets. They did all that. They're not going to beat the 16 Warriors. They're still 30-7. They're still the best team in the league far and away. Chet Holmgren still had to step up as their number 2 option when Jalen Williams was hurt, and he did so admirably. He was the reason they won their opener. He had an incredible game. He's had several incredible games, and at the end of the day, he does bring a lot of what you could ask for him in the role that they put him in. So
yeah. I will just say, yeah, so I didn't have Sengun as an all-star. I did have Booker. I probably would have Booker after Chet, so I wouldn't have even had Sengun there. Not that Sengun's been bad, because all these players have been amazing. I mean, I had LeBron James off my all-star list. By the way, LeBron James will be an all-star. Just somehow he will. I don't think he'll deserve it unless he starts, just going off like he kind of has been recently for a whole nother month.
His numbers are pretty good. They're just not better than Austin Reeves or Sengun right now, or Lowry,
or even a Booker.
Yeah,
but I didn't have Booker. I think he probably should deserve it. It's just unfortunate if there's multiple injuries. I hope he makes it, but he has had a down year. I mean, the Suns team success has been because of their amazing role players who've been playing, like a Colin Gillespie. Royce O'Neal's been great. Dylan Brooks has stepped up. Yeah.
From a team perspective, you can say the East and the West are more comparable than they've been in a long time. But from a player perspective, the West is still way better.
LeBron James is an all-star by far.
In the East,
he might be a lock.
Absolutely. LeBron James, not based on voting, based on performance this year.
I'm gonna have LeBron James over Norman Powell.
I might have all of my injury reserves as all-stars in the East. Genuinely, I got to kick 3 guys out and put my injury reserves in there. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, Booker's Booker's making the All-Star game in the East. So I was really hoping, because I always root for the East because my favorite team's in the East. But yeah, no, the West is just better when it comes to the All-Stars.
But the teams in the East are catching up. I think team play in the East is probably better than it is in the West in a lot of ways.
No, you could definitely, especially in that play-in area of some of those play-in teams in the West are pretty bad.
Yeah.
So,
but those are our All-Star not predictions. What would you call this? These are the guys that
our all-star ballot.
This is our all. I've been watching too many Seal Lion videos on TikTok, and it's starting to get to me.
We didn't have too many disagreements. We had a couple. We only had one starter disagreement, and even then, it's pretty close. I'm never really gonna be too mad because any player, the players that you had as an all-star that I didn't, I had like as honorable mentions, and they were close, and I had to think about it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't any players, honestly, besides like Steph Curry starting versus not starting, which I was actually, I'm the one who chose. You're the Warriors fan, and you benched him. Yeah, it's not like we have any super biases.
That is kind of funny. You're kind of like the Chet fan. You put him on the injury reserve. I'm the Steph fan. I put him on the bench.
Yeah, maybe we're just too negative of fans. Maybe we're not.
Honestly,
we're not
yeah,
delusional enough.
maybe I need to, dick ride a little bit more. Pause. And
Out
with
of
that,
context, that's a great clip.
we're gonna close on that one. Good night, tri-state area. We'll see y'all next time.